All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session. The K-12 Blackboard Innovative Teaching Series is designed to help K-12 educators reimagine education with Blackboard teaching and learning solutions. The K-12 Blackboard Innovative Teaching Series harnesses the power of our K-12 community, academic leaders, teachers, and other experts to provide relevant, real-time, on-demand, and ongoing professional development opportunities for educators. My name is Katie Gallagher, and I'm the Senior Product Marketing Manager for Blackboard's Teaching and Learning Products, and I'll be serving as the moderator for the K-12 Blackboard Innovative Teaching Series. Thanks so much to Janine Richardson, Solutions Engineer, and Colleen Smith with our K-12 marketing team, who'll be helping answer questions today in the chat. And we'll be serving as the host for the Innovative Teaching Series this fall. We're always open to new ideas for topics for the series, so let us know if you have a topic you'd like to see in the future or if you're interested in presenting a session. We're working on scheduling the spring series right now. Each webinar in this series will be recorded. You can search for the K-12 BITS series playlist on the Blackboard YouTube channel, or if you go to tinyurl.com/bitsk12, you can access the playlist. After each session, you'll receive a recording and the presentation slides a few days later by email. You'll also receive an invitation from me to participate in an online professional learning community on course sites designed to augment the series and create an avenue for ongoing collaboration and dialogue. So please look for this invitation and accept it. As you can see, we've got many exciting professional development sessions lined up. Please join us again on Monday at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time for curating content the right way with Stephen Anderson. You can always go to bbb.blackboard.com/K12bits to register for any and all of the sessions within the series this fall. Oh, I do want to mention one thing. We also have a special session next Friday, not part of the series, a K-12 Teaching and Learning Roadmap with Brad Cook next Friday. So I wanted to mention that as well. So as I mentioned, I went backwards. I'm sorry. 1 second. All right, and so in addition to the series and the playlist and PLC, we've got a great way to get professional development content on demand and on the go. If you haven't done so already, be sure to download our BB K-12 Live app. You can search for it in the App Store or on the web, but it's a great resource. You can catch up on any sessions you missed from BB World this summer, and we are adding the sessions from this series to the app as well. So be sure to get the app if you don't have it already. Today we're very pleased to welcome Trey Buck, a product manager from Blackboard. He's going to introduce us to a new app that will be available to teachers very soon, BB Grader for iOS. BB Grader for iOS, when it becomes generally available very soon, will be a core component of Blackboard's K-12 teaching and learning solutions, both the innovative classroom and the common core solution. So we're very pleased to welcome Trey today to present BB Grader. So with that, Trey, I'm going to hand it to you, and thank you for joining us today.
Great, thanks, Katie. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so as Katie mentioned in the introduction, my name is Trey Buck, and I'll be walking you through a new iOS app that we're going to be releasing hopefully very soon to the Apple App Store that will allow teachers to grade assignment submissions on their iPad. So I'll talk a little bit about some logistics and release information, and then I'll give a quick demo of the app. So BB Grader is the name of the app. It's what you'd search for in the iTunes or the Apple App Store. And it's exactly as I mentioned. It's learn assignment grading on a tablet. So instead of having to go to the web interface in a browser on your laptop or desktop, you can actually download the app and then look at student submissions and grade them on your mobile device. This is the first app we've done that's specifically targeted at teachers. Mobile Learn, one of our other mobile apps for accessing course content, has some teacher functionality to it, but definitely no grading capability, and it is mainly built towards students, students' workflows, students' use cases, and with students in mind. So again, BB Grader is specifically for instructors and anyone with grading rights within a course. So BB Grader will support most of the assignment features that are available today in Learn. So that's text, video, and audio feedback. You can provide point comments within a document. You can also do private notes that are specific to the grader or instructor. We support anonymous assignments, portfolio assignments, grading with rubrics, and even comments within rubrics and ranged rubrics. So all of the rubric scenarios that are currently available within Learn Assignments. There's also features in the app for bulk grade submission, and I'll talk a little bit more about that during the demo, as well as messaging, so being able to email students directly. And then there's a little bit of retention center integration in a feature that we call the risk profile, and I'll show a little bit of that during the demo as well. The risk profile also includes a feature that pulls alerts from the retention center, so again, I'll show that. Unfortunately, we don't support delegated grading assignments today, so if the assignment in Learn has delegated grading enabled, it won't show up within BB Grader. Delegated Grader is a very powerful but also very complex feature, and we just weren't able to get support for it in this first version of the app. We do have it slated for hopefully the next release, but certainly at some point building in support for delegated grading so that anyone who's designated as a delegated grader can go in and grade through the app, as well as all of the reconciliation and the complex workflows within the delegated grading features. We also don't support safe assign results today inside of BB Grader. Again, something else we very much like to support, but is on the docket for a future release. In terms of requirements, this is an iOS and specifically iPad only app. We didn't feel that the ability to grade student submissions on a phone was all that valuable. Trying to zoom in and see small text on a phone, a smaller device was not necessarily ideal. And very much shooting for MVP of this first release of BB Grader, we targeted the tablet modality instead of phones. It supports iOS 7 or iOS 8, and any of those iPads that are supported by iOS 7 or iOS 8. I think that goes back to the iPad 2, if I'm recalling correctly. In terms of Learn, clients need to be on SP13 or above. No support for anything on SP12 or for any Learn instances on SP12 or prior. There was also an update to the Mobile Learn building block. So the B2 that connects the app to the Learn instance needs to be updated, and that'll be available via software updates ahead of the availability of BB Grader. So you'll have a chance to upgrade your B2 building block, and then the app will come out, and your users shouldn't experience any problems with connectivity. If the B2 is not upgraded, users won't actually be able to log in to the app. So it's very critical that that B2 be updated. Other building blocks are required for the app, but they're all bundled with SP13. So you can see a few of those building blocks listed here. We can get more documentation on what they all are in case you're afraid that you might have disabled some of them. But just to make sure that we have all the functionality inside of the app, there are other required B2s. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into the demo. I don't have a demo slide here. Let me start sharing my simulator. Can you see the simulator okay?
That looks great.
Okay, great. So the first thing to note is that I am demoing this application from a simulator and not an actual device. So some of the features of the application won't be available for me to demo, such as video feedback. So but I'll work with what's available to me in the simulator, and you can check out the YouTube link that Katie posted for more information as well. So where it stands right now, me as a user, I'm an instructor at my institution, and I have heard about this great app called BB Grader, and I have gone to the Apple App Store and I have downloaded the app, and now it's on my iPad. So if I click on BB Grader, just like Mobile Learn Today, I have a text box for being able to search for my institution's name. In this case, I'm going to type in a secret development code because we're still doing final testing QA of the app. But in this case, my institution's name is Globant, and if I had typed in Globant in production, I would see the list of results that match that. So, and then I select my institution, and I enter my Learn credentials just like I would on the website. So now I'm logged into BB Grader. There is a first-time user experience that pops up to give you a little bit more information. I've logged in as this user in the past, so that's not showing up here, but there is some context given to users the first time they come into the app. And I'm seeing a listing of all the assignments for the particular course that I have landed on. The app remembers what course I was in last when I was in the app. So in English 212, you can see that here at the top of the screen. If I click on English 212, I can see a listing of the other courses that I am an instructor within as well. And importantly, I can actually see the course identifier within Learn underneath in gray. So if I'm teaching multiple sections of English 212, for example, the course identifier can help me remember which course it is or course section it is that I'm looking at. So I'm going to stay in this course for now, though. And then I see the assignments underneath. So right now I'm looking at all of the assignments that are available within BB Grader for me to grade, and really that's just a listing of all the assignments minus any of those that have delegated grading enabled. So none of these have delegated grading. I can filter these assignments by ones that I have grading left to do. It's currently on all. I can view by grading left, or those assignments which I've completed grading. I haven't currently done so, but they would show up with a green check here if I had. So a couple of things to note. I've got a book review here, and then I've got a group assignment and an anonymous assignment as well.
Okay, we've got a question about the assignment listing in each course. Will it show all assignments even if there are no submissions, or will it only show assignments that currently have submissions?
Yeah, it's a great question. Thanks, and I don't have the chat up in front of me, so please do stop me if there are questions.
Sure.
The assignment listing will show all assignments regardless of the number of submissions. And if you can see here actually at the bottom, and I'll come back to this in here in just a second, the green bar, the gray bar beneath the assignment shows me what percentage of those assignments I have graded. So if I click on this individual assignment, you'll see that there are submissions from some of the students. Some of them have been graded, and some of them are missing submissions. Again, if I have already graded an assignment, I can filter out those assignments that the grading has been completed on. But it lists all assignments regardless of if there's a submission. The advantage of listing assignments, if there aren't any submissions to them, sometimes instructors will set up an assignment in Learn, but the students will hand in the papers like manually or physically, and so you're actually able to grade what BB Grader thinks is a missing submission. You can apply a grade so that you can get those grades into the Learn gradebook, even if you received a physical copy of a student's paper. So if I click into the book review assignment, I see a listing of all of my submissions. And as I mentioned before, there are some missing submissions. There are 2 submissions that have come in, one of which has been graded but not sent to Learn, and I'll talk about that a little more in just a second. But in terms of the assignment itself, I have the title at the top. I have the ability to go back to all the assignment listings, but I can also slide down more information about this particular assignment. I can tell what the number of points that this assignment has available. I can also see some description, and this is just lorem ipsum text, but you know, the description for To Kill a Mockingbird might be write a 500-word review of the book and make sure you have your parents review it before you submit. I can also see due date if one has been set, though no due date has been set for this assignment. So I can get some more metadata and information about this particular assignment and also collapse that back down. So if I click on an individual student's assignment, I'm able to actually see the text of their submission within the app. And there's only one page to this submission, but this is rendering a PDF document. We have support for several other file types. There are some files we're not able to render, but your most common, so PDF, Word documents, HTML documents, and just plain text that's entered into the VTBE editor in Learn. All of those are renderable inside of the app. If a student submits, say, for example, a zip file or an Excel file, we can't really display those things, but you can save them to open in another application. But you know, the majority of the use of viewing Word documents and PDF files and just student manually enter text into Learn is absolutely covered.
Hey, Trey, there's a question in the chat. I'm not sure that I fully understand, so I'm asking Ryan to unmute to ask it. Go ahead, Ryan.
Chat pulled up here.
Okay, I'm not sure I unmuted or not, but
we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So just real quick, Trey, on a previous slide you showed, or one of the screens from the program you showed, where it showed a description of the assignment, and you know, oftentimes we'll have attached documents with those assignment instructions. Will it also allow you to review the attached document?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't believe so at this time. I would need to go double check to make sure, but I think we're just showing text here. I need to double check, but I believe that is the case. Okay. Thanks for the question. I'm actually not seeing the questions in the chat, so yeah, please do. I've got the chat up now, but I can't see that question.
I'll feed them in, Trey. Thank you. They're
okay.
coming in some through QA and some through chat, but we'll either hold them to the end or introduce them if you're at that point. So no worries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Ryan, I'm actually going to go ahead and make a note of your comment there, because that's a great enhancement. As I mentioned before, we're very much, we built an MVP of this product. It was the minimum we thought that we could come out with to satisfy, you know, at least some of the expectations of our users, but we're absolutely interested in enhancement requests and things you'd like to see within the app. So please, you know, voice those if you have them. So I'm viewing I'm viewing Jen Dyer's PDF submission. I can zoom in, I can zoom out. I can actually add point annotations. So I'm clicking, but in theory on my tablet I would be tapping the plus comment icon and then tapping somewhere within the document. And I could say, for instance, trying to get this, there we go, you missed a comma, right? And then I can go back, and that comment is then visible to the student in WebLearn when they go to review my annotations and feedback on their document.
Hey, Trey, I know you're in the simulator now, but on a real iPad, when you're in there, you know, annotating the document, you'd have that little voice recognition microphone, so you could even speak it in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. I mean, this dialogue uses the native keyboard. Actually, I'm not seeing the voice. I don't think you can type that in. We didn't build that for right now, so I don't think that's possible. Unfortunately, we're using Crocodoc to power this, and we're somewhat limited by the things that Crocodoc can do. So you know it's not an available feature within Crocodoc, but rather than building this whole component or control ourselves, we've just leveraged our integration with Crocodoc, which is the same service that we use on the website. So it's good because that's what allows the comments, these point annotations, to filter through. But no voice recognition right now. great question. All right, so I've viewed this student submission and I've made some point comments in it, but now I really want to grade this thing, and this is where the real power of the application comes in. So there's a couple of things to note here when I click the pencil icon. It slides out a grading panel. I can actually type to enter overall feedback, and I can enter private grading notes and say that Jen is really doing well. And then I can also add audio and video feedback to the student. So if I close the keyboard and I start tapping, now we're recording. Jen, you've done some really great work this semester. You can definitely see improvement in your work. I can stop, and then I can play that back. Okay, you can see that work, and I can select to use this particular recording or retake it. So I've given Jen some text feedback. I have given her some audio feedback. Again, the simulator won't let me use video, so I won't show that, but it's a very similar experience to audio. You just have the video enabled as well. And then I can enter a grade. So let's say this assignment's worth 100 points. I think Jen deserves an 85. She had some syntax errors and some spelling mistakes, but overall it was fairly good. And then but you know what? I still have some more grading to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this as a draft for now. So I'm gonna go back to my submissions listing, and now I see that I have two students graded. So I have given Ben a 93, and I've given Jen an 85. But I mentioned before that there's a syncing aspect that needs to occur between the grades that have been put into BB Grader and the Learn Gradebook. So right now, these grades only reside inside of the iOS app. They're not present in the Learn Gradebook yet. I can actually click this Send Graded icon, and it will say I'm about to send 2 grades and feedback for 2 submissions back to the Learn Gradebook. So this is the syncing process of I have graded some student submissions, and now I'm going to enter those grades back into the Learn Gradebook. And this is really powerful, especially for those final exams or midterm exams, things where you don't necessarily want to release only some of the student grades back to the gradebook, and then have students wondering, well, why is my grade not available? I heard Susie's got hers posted. So I can grade all of my student submissions, or wait until they've all come in, grade them, and then in one fell swoop, push all those grades and all that feedback back to Learn in one click of a button. And that's a really powerful use case. Another thing that I will note about assignments, and I mentioned this in the lead up, is that we actually have rubric integration as well. So if this assignment has a rubric assigned to it, and while I manually graded it a moment ago, I could have graded it with a rubric. So this is rubric 1. There's formatting, organization, and grammar. I mentioned that she had some spelling mistakes, so I'm going to give her competent but proficient in the other areas. And you can see that the grade is automatically adjusted to account for the percentages within the rubric. I can also add particular comments about particular rubric criteria that I chose. So I gave her only competent in grammar, and I can say you had some spelling mistakes. And now when I save this, I can send it directly from here as well. But if I save this and go back to my submission listing, now I see that this new grade that is here has not been sent back to Learn, but I can go ahead and send that now. So I can view student submissions. I can grade them either manually or with rubrics. I can keep those grades in BB Grader for submission back to Learn at another time. And then I can also change grades inside of BB Grader for those things that have already been sent. And that's the main workflow that we've targeted, for BB Grader. And I want to stop for a second to see if there are any questions. I don't see any in the chat, but maybe Katie, you have some.
Yeah, no questions right now. There, just in case everyone hasn't seen it, there's a question about you know, they love the audio and video feedback tray. It looks awesome. And they're like, can we do that on the web? And so I mentioned, you know, through the web you can use video everywhere, but we're very excited about the, you know, kind of native audio video through you know, through the tablet in BB Grader.
Yeah, you can provide audio and video feedback on the web. It does require, I believe, the Video Anywhere solution. I think it's a building block as well as some UI elements that get enabled after the building block is installed. But you can definitely provide that audio and video feedback. The one thing I will note about any audio or video that's provided in BB Grader, the way that manifests itself on the web side, when a student's viewing their submission and the feedback that an instructor has provided, currently audio, video files actually show up as attachments to the instructor feedback. They're not actually rendered in line yet. Definitely an area that we want to make it in line at some point, but again, in BP, just being able to provide some audio video feedback is really powerful, and we'll get to the inline viewing of that. Of course, students can always, in WebLearn, students can always, you know, click the file to open it, or, you know, right-click, save it to their desktop, and view the instructor feedback, audio or video feedback. So,
Trey, there is another question. Eric Silva has a great question. He says, you know, since we manually need to click Send Graded, will the app work offline? And so let me ask you to break that into two. Can you explain, you know, what the purpose of the Send Graded is? There's real thought behind why you choose to either send everything at once or one at a time. And then, you know, secondly, could you speak to the part of the question regarding will the app work offline, Trey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I thought I touched a little bit on the send grades and the main use case behind that a moment ago, but just to be clear, we want to make sure that the teachers are in control of when grades are released to students. And there's a setting in the Learn Gradebook of whether students can see their grades, and that's useful, but in BB Grader, you know, the way that's accomplished is by, you know, making sure the instructor consciously makes the decision to send the grades back to the Learn Gradebook. So it keeps the power of grade visibility in the instructor's hands and only releases those when they're ready. So the question of offline capabilities, currently the app needs to have an internet connection. Definitely is a feature that we considered, but again, in an effort to get something built and get it out into the market and get feedback on it, we haven't gone that route yet. Certainly would like to build in the ability for instructors to grade things while they're offline. That would be obviously very valuable, but right now it's an online-only application.
Thanks, Trey. Perfect.
Okay, great. So I do want to show a few more things about the app. So I mentioned before anonymous assignments, and you'll see here that I don't have any actual submissions to these anonymous assignments, but the point is the student names are also not visible either. I think we might have a little bit of a bug here, and I have an older build where we fixed this. There should be a unique identifier here, you know, some combination of text and alphanumeric characters. This is A1324 for the student so that you can recognize them. If you forget, I saw another bug there just a second ago, sorry for the stumble, but if you forget that, oh, which student is this, there is some way to recognize them, but it's not personally identifiable for that student. I said a moment ago that you can grade missing submissions, and that is true. There's a bug in there for that anonymous assignment, but we're still working through our final QA of the app, but hope to submit to the App Store very soon. The other assignment that I wanted to show you is group assignment. So in the same way that if we view a single student submission and if they have a profile image, I've got the little profile icon here. For group submissions, I can see 2 profiles at once, or 3 or 4, and I think we stop at 4, but we'll quarter off the profile icon to show that this is a group submission, and if they have profile icons, at least some way to recognize who the people are in the group. The other way to recognize who's in the group is to slide out here, and if I'm clicking and dragging, but this would be a touch and drag situation on a tablet or a touch device, I can actually view the group profile, and then I can click and see those group members that are associated with that group. If I actually go to grade a group assignment,
and Trey, while you're going into that group assignment, there was a question in the chat from Marion about what's needed on the LMS side to use the app. So we'll go back to the slide at the end, Marion, but the building block just simply requires an update. It'll be available through software updates. So the Learn administrator updates the building block, and then it's available. If you're not currently using the building block, simply turn it on and activate it with the Mobile Learn Central service, making sure you're on the right version. When that update becomes available, it's a very easy process. And I'm not sure, Marion, if you're the Learn administrator, but your Blackboard Learn administrator would take care of all of that.
Yep, and there's a slight addition I'd like to put onto that is I don't know if you're familiar, or Marion, if you're asking the question because you are aware of the sort of enterprise license where the school pays for Mobile Learn, or the user pay model where the individual pays for a license to Mobile Learn, and how Mobile Learn is distributed, the other application from Blackboard. So there's some sort of pricing nuance here, but the general statement is that this application and access to it is free so long as Mobile Learn is installed. The Mobile Learn V2 is installed and registered on the Learn device. So this application ignores the enterprise user pay, who pays for the thing. Nobody needs to pay for this. It is free. It is free for all clients, all instructors whose institution has installed the V2, installed and registered the V2. So it should be free for you. If you are running into a situation where you're not able to access it, please let us know. We're happy to sort through the details. So I'm viewing this group assignment now, and the one thing about group assignments that's important to note is that while I can provide an overall grade for the group and say they got a 70, I can actually give individual group members grades as well. So if I know, for instance, that Ben really pulled his weight on this assignment and Jen was sort of not helping out in the way that she should have, now I can give different group members different grades, and then that grading range is reflected here as well. Now, it's only a 50-point assignment, so they'll get some extra credit, and that's certainly possible in the app and in WebLearn as well. But to make it more realistic, let's say that Ben gets a 45, and Jen will think it's a 30, right? And just like the other non-group assignment, I can send this grade back to WebLearn, and then when I'm viewing it in the submission listing, I can see that there's a range of grades for this particular group assignment. And then, so coming back to the overall assignment listing page, you can see that now the progress bar has moved, both for the book review assignment, which before had a dark gray bar indicating that there were submissions that hadn't yet been graded and sent to Learn. Similarly, for the group assignment, now this is the bar's halfway because there are only 2 groups, and I've graded and sent one of the group submissions, so there's still a remaining work to do here for me as the instructor. Okay, so that is all of the demonstration that I had to show. I know we've still got quite a bit of time. Happy to answer any other questions, comments, concerns.
Thank you, Trey. And let me call attention to a couple of things. There have been a lot of great questions along the way, so thank you for answering those as we went. Really appreciate that. I typed into the chat, I want to make sure everyone saw in the chat, I sent a link to a little video. It's like a 2-minute video on BB Grader as well. It's not a publicly available video yet. It will be made public when this app launches, when it's available in the App Store. So let's keep sending the questions in. We've got a question from Melanie. What was the name of the building block that needs to be installed in Blackboard again? So Colleen, can you make me presenter, and I'm going to navigate back to that slide, and Trey and I can speak to that?
Yeah, let me stop sharing. So
the building block that's necessary is simply the Mobile Learn building block. When BB Grader becomes generally available, a new building block for Mobile Learn will become generally available. It's going to be version 9.4.6.1, and you'll see it in software updates at the time of the BB Grader launch. So you'll simply have to update it.
Yeah, and actually, just to clarify, it's 9.4.6.0. There was a change to the release strategy, so we decided to roll a few updates into one. 9.4.6.0 will be the number. I forgot to update the slide. But it's the same Mobile Learn building block that you already have installed, or should already have installed if you're using Mobile Learn. And the update will come through software updates, as Katie mentioned. So no separate building block.
Yep, no separate building block. So the updated building block, and then it does have to be, registered with the Mobile Learn Central Service. It's just a setup of the Mobile Learn building block. And Trey mentioned it doesn't matter whether you have the enterprise or the personal license, just the building block installed and configured. Let's see, other questions.
Yep. And you don't have to, just to extend that further, you don't have to do anything other than update the building block. You don't have to re-register it or change any of the settings. Just simply downloading and installing the update from software updates should be enough.
Great. I think we've got another question here. The question is about what's the ETA for launch of BB Grader. So we don't generally talk, in exact dates, but Trey, I'll let you address that. What's what's the general time frame expected, or can you answer that?
Yeah, I can say generally, and I'll always refer back to the forward-facing statement slide just so that I cover myself. But we are in the final stages of QA with the app and expect to submit to Apple very soon, hopefully within the next couple of days, if not sooner. And then there is a review process that Apple goes through for all apps, and so it could take Apple a very short amount of time, or it could take Apple a very long amount of time. It's sort of out of our hands in how long it takes Apple to review and then approve the apps that are submitted to them. So general time frame, a couple of weeks, give or take whatever amount of time it takes for Apple to review. So tentatively, a few weeks.
Great. And we will just, we'll be sending customer communications at launch. So, key contacts within each institution will receive, a notification that the app, has launched. And watch, social media, because we'll be tweeting and everything. There'll be a lot of buzz at the time of launch. So. Other questions? Okay. Okay. Yeah. There's a comment that came in from a participant with the new iOS update. He says, he thinks it could take a lot of time because a lot of apps would be submitted right now. So that's from a participant on the line, Justin Carroll. That's true. This is around the time of the iOS 8 launch. I'm not sure if we know for sure how that will affect it, but yes. I mean, the point is really we're not sure the exact time frame once it's submitted, so the date is tentative. As always with any forward-facing, launches. So, great questions today. Keep them coming in. I'm going to go ahead and move back to one slide very quickly. Let me see here. I want to remind you to please take time to download the BB K-12 Live app. It has all the best sessions from BB World this summer, this entire Blackboard K-12 Fall Innovative Teaching Series. We add the sessions to the app as we capture them and publish them both on the YouTube channel and within the app. It's a great way to have, on-demand professional development anywhere you go. We really appreciate you all joining us today for the session. Would like to thank Trey for leading today's session. It's been very informative. And would invite you to join us for upcoming sessions within the series. We have one Monday and one Friday next week. It's actually, Friday is not part of the series, but a comprehensive K-12 Blackboard teaching and learning roadmap presentation that we're very excited about. So also, don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions about the series or any leftover questions from today. You can reach me at Twitter at @KatieGallagher or by email, katie.gallagher@blackboard.com. It looks like we have one more question. Is there a specific Blackboard app for colleges, or is information communicated in the K-12 app you just mentioned? So right now, I don't believe we have an app similar to the K-12, the Blackboard K-12 Live app. This was a program that the K-12 market piloted at BB World this summer, but I do believe we're exploring doing a live program in other markets next summer at Blackboard World. But I would certainly still recommend the BB K-12 Live app to anyone. I'm sure there's going to be valuable sessions and information, but it is, Melanie, geared more specifically to K-12 needs. But I don't know, Colleen, do you have any information on future directions with an app-like experience for higher ed, perhaps?
No specifics, just that it's being contemplated again for BB World next year, and I think it's been a broader conversation. So as soon as we know more, we'll definitely communicate that out.
Great, thank you. And thank you to our presenter and expert today, Trey Buck. Thank you for sharing a new and exciting app that will hopefully meet teachers, because we know they have meet the needs of teachers. We know they have very busy lives and lots of papers to grade, and our hope and aim is to make their life just a little bit easier, being able to grade Blackboard Learn assignment submissions with rich feedback on their iPads, anywhere, anytime. So thanks, everyone, for joining us for this session of the series today. We appreciate your time and wish you a great weekend. Thank you.